Yeah, Jeff, I think with Zadina, I think over the past dozen or so games, he's only averaging one shot on goal. Have the shot opportunities been there for him, or is he passing up shots, or is he just not getting in position to get more shots off, or what are you seeing from him there?
Yeah, I don't think Z rarely passes up shots. I think there's been, opportunities. I can think just in the last couple of games where he's cut to the middle, he's had opportunities to shoot. He's gone to shoot, and it's got taken off his stick at the last second. So I would say there's probably been more times where he's had the opportunity to shoot, and he hasn't got it off quick enough, so then it doesn't register as a shot. More than he's passed up shot opportunities. Like he looks to shoot more as much as anybody really on our team. So it's not that, I think that coupled with the fact he just hasn't gotten those situations enough. And, it's just one of those stretches where, I think before the pause, they're not pause, but the Christmas break that was extended, he was getting lots of opportunities and getting lots of chances, and he hasn't had as many since. And so, he's just got to keep working his way into getting those chances again.
Is it with him, especially during 5-on-5 play, does he need to look for different areas of the ice other than his sweet spot to produce from?
5-on-5, there's one area of the ice where everything's scoring, that's in that scoring slot. So there's different ways to get pucks there. You can carry it there, you can receive passes there, and you can get loose puck recoveries there. And that includes the net front area. So, that's the area where they're at. And, he understands that. It's easier to talk about than it is to actually do. But whether it's, giving it and finding those soft areas in the slot, whether it's, getting it back and carrying into those areas, whether it's probably this the easiest way, putting yourself in those areas constantly and other people shooting the puck and you getting those loose puck recoveries. The guys that score consistently always have, dirty goals as part of their collection of goals, because it's impossible to score from the outside on a consistent basis. So he knows that, and he's going to keep working to get to those areas.
Any update on Lindstrom?
Well, he didn't practice today, so I think it's a day-to-day thing. I just don't know what that means. Does that mean he's going to practice tomorrow? I don't have that answer yet, and certainly if he doesn't practice tomorrow, he would not be available Wednesday. But we'll see.
And was Lighty maintenance day?
Lighty was a maintenance day. I expect him to practice tomorrow, be available Wednesday.
And also one more, Grice, is this still kind of a day-to-day thing as far as the protocol?
Once you get past 5 days in the new COVID protocols, you can start to try to test your way out of it, even if you don't test what was considered negative in the past, a certain number of cycles, and he hasn't hit that number. So he's still in COVID. Doesn't mean that he doesn't get a couple of those in the next couple of days and he gets out, but he's not there yet.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ballman. Just really quick, would it be fair to say that goalie coming out of COVID protocol needs more than a skater to ramp back up?
Yeah. There's zero doubt it'll take longer for us to feel comfortable to put them into those situations, because you can't, hide them on a fourth line or a third D pairing or let them feel their way into the game. You're either ready to go in net or you're not. So, let's say he got out, I think Thursday's his 10th day. I can't even tell you that he'd be available for Friday or Saturday at that point.
What do you thought of Adam Ernie so far this season? Obviously, he had the kind of the production bump last year and maybe hasn't come as easy this year. But what do you thought of his game?
I think Adam overall has played well. I think he went through a stretch prior to the last couple of games where he wasn't playing as well. Played very well in Anaheim, but the games in and around that game, he wasn't playing as well. I think, that happens. That's confidence more than anything else. It certainly is never effort. With him, it certainly is never a want or a will, but I think confidence factors into that. And I think last year, pucks went in, and this year some of those haven't gone in quite as much. He hasn't had as many looks on the power play. I don't know that he's played the same amount of time on the power play, but he's gotten certainly some opportunity in the power play. But he hasn't got the same looks that he got a year ago. And that's where some of his offense came from. So I think his offense is going to ebb and flow. I think last year, he was on a consistent line with Helmer and Glennie, and they had a real good identity. And at times the lines he's been on has had that, and at times it hasn't. And so it's, probably caused some of the ebb and flow.
Good to see him score the other day.
Yeah, he's an excellent breakaway guy. And so it was a huge goal, put us in position to come out and have a chance to win the game, so it was great to see him score.
Thanks.
Yep.
Wayne St. James.
Jeff, how would you describe Philip Sedina when he's at his best?
Well, I think when Philip's at his best, he's a guy who is a good attack with the puck. I think he's developed into a give and go. He's getting shots off on the rush. He's getting shots off in the slot area. He's finding his way to that slot area lots. That goes back to his time in the Quebec Major Junior League. If you look at where his opportunities came from back then. So, it's finding ways to get in that slot area more is when he's played his best.
And then how do you balance, putting him in a position to succeed versus, maybe there are other guys who are more deserving of being in the top six?
Well, we've balanced it through the year. He hasn't been in the top six in the last. He hasn't spent very many stretches in the top six in the last month. So I think he had a lot of opportunity in the top six early. I don't think the line was set up necessarily to have the best success in the sense that it was three guys that we thought deserved to be in the top six, but they're Fabs and Z are shooters. They're all a little slight, but we were trying to give them the opportunity that you speak of. And since then we've had a more, at different times with Rass or even with, when Rowney was playing with Rowney, he actually is created in those situations when he's been with guys who are a little bit bigger and harder, and I think he ends up with more puck touches then. So, the balance, I guess, is only a balance in a sense that we're very cognizant of, making sure that with our young players that we're trying to do what's best for their development. But really what you're trying to do is put, guys out there that you think give you your best chance to win, and that guys have to earn those spots. So like I said, he hasn't, he's been on the power play fairly consistent. I think he's had one game he wasn't on it. He's sat a game. He's been up and down the lineup. Part of it's accountability, part of it's putting guys in the right spots, and part of it is us, also being cognizant that confidence matters, and can we ignite him? And so we'll see. Is there better hockey in him? Yeah, probably. Oh no, I know there is. And is there more production? Yeah, there is for sure. So we're going to keep grinding.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ted Colvin.
Hey, Jeff, how, impressed or pleasantly surprised are you at the way Bert's come back from the back surgery? And when you hear back surgery, that could be really tricky and scary, but the way he's played this year, I don't know. Pretty surprised or impressed or what?
Well, I think, yes, I would say first off that you never know when somebody has a back surgery, how they're going to do, and you always get scared when people have back surgeries when they're young. I don't care if you're an athlete or not an athlete, like that's a hard thing to do. I know back surgeons even would say that, it's a last, they prefer other avenues before surgery. With that said, I think he's come back great. I think he's come back and played without any fear, which I think is important coming back from any injury. I think he's been hard on the puck. I think his practice habits have been really, really good. Just in a maturation level, like he's always been a guy who cares a lot, but I think he's gotten even better at his attention to detail and practice every day. I think that's carried forward to his consistency in his game. I think lately he's really made a concerted effort to focus on trying to get better of managing the puck. I think it's something that he didn't do good enough early when he was producing, and I think he's trying to see a play and make it, and if there isn't a play, to live another day. So he's definitely been a big piece of any of our success, and we're going to need him to continue to be.
we've probably asked this off and on the last few years or whatnot, but when you got him at GR, did you see that type of, I mean, did you think you could be that type of offensive player? Or did you see the offensive skills like that when you had him in GR?
Yes, I did. I saw it right away. And one thing about real good players is you see it right away. And you know, he came in and played for us in the playoffs and made an impact for us in the playoffs. That was the first, you know, kind of sight we had, you know, real vision we had of him. And he made an impact. He's got a really good poise with the puck. And he can be really strong on it as well. And I think that's something he's getting back to here in the last week and 2 weeks is being stronger on the puck and seeing plays and making them and not just, you know, hoping plays. And I think he's getting back to doing that real well. But yes, he had, you could tell he had offense in him right away. He's got a good brain too.
Right, the last one, I mean, it's been a week or two now since you made the switch and more balance. You like, I mean, I guess you still like what you've seen there with the balance in the lines now with him on the second, Vladdy on the top line and all.
Yep, I do. I like it. I think it's been good. I don't think it's taken away from either group's offense. I think they've both been able to produce chances. You know, the offense was hard to come by in Nashville. They're a good defensive team. But with that said, the chances were even. You know, so that means the game's a bit of a coin toss. So you know, I think it balances us out for sure. Yeah, I like it.
Sounds good. Thanks for this, Jeff.
Yep.
Last question, Carly Johnston.
I know we've been talking about how the shots on net are pretty even, especially even in losses, but you focus on scoring chances. So what is it that you can improve, that the team can improve on with their scoring chances? Of what is it that needs to be fixed?
I would say, you know, first off, I think when you review a game, you look at the scoring chance battle. And so, like, I'll give you Nashville, for example. I think we had it at 14-13 them, you know, and so anytime, I mean, you're getting into nitpicking a little bit in terms of, you know, whether, so that's almost even. So that says you play that game 10 times, you'll win 5, you'll lose 5. That's what that says historically. You know, sometimes a team is just blessed with a lot better shooters sometimes, and so they make more of the scoring chance. But generally, that's about, you're going to win 5, lose 5. So, you know, then you look a little deeper and you say, okay, of those, how many grade A's? Now they had us a little higher in grade A, so that tilts the advantage to them. But that's what we look at. Now, how can you create those more and give those up less? That's what, you know, your challenges as a coach. I'd start by saying, how do you give those up less? I think we've gotten better in our D zone coverage, but I think our slot coverage still needs to be better. And in that particular game, we gave up a lot of rush chances, and so you can't live on and win on rush chances against. You'll end up not being good enough. And then on the return of that, I do think we could still do a better job of just the simplicity of getting pucks to the cage with a man on the net and a man, you know, what we've called at times the third circle, but that area at the hash marks above the, so you have some depth of screen there, and that you're coming down on it and you're just getting some of those dirty goals. And then that's where all those that's where a lot of chances are created. That doesn't take, you know, elite skilled plays. It just takes a mentality and something that we're continuing to work on.
Awesome. So no, we had an off day yesterday and a couple practice days before a game. Is this a good time to hone in on the structure of your game and be able to fix some of the stuff that you were just mentioning?
Yeah, you know, one, we get a chance to look at special teams both days. So, you know, we'll have looked at special teams both days. Number two, certainly, you know, we get a chance to work on some structure pieces of it, both offensively and defensively in both days, and kind of divide up which days we're going to do it. So we definitely have more practice days here coming up. You got to continue to invigorate the guys when you have a lot of practices. They get sick of practices. So we try to utilize small ice games in those situations. So, you know, it brings the temperature of the practice up and the competitiveness up, and hopefully get as much out of them as we can.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
All right, those are all the questions we had today for Coach Blashill. Thanks everyone for joining us.